Hi, and welcome to Aquamarine 18 Tarot and Books. I'm Laura.
I'm Chris.
And we are here with a double deck review and walkthrough to share with you all. And we're attired in thematically appropriate co-captains attire. Which, if you know Star Trek, you know that these uniforms are from the original series, which is suitable because the first deck that we'll be sharing with you is the Star Trek Original Series Tarot by Adam Baum of Telekiad. Do you want to share the second deck?
And the second deck will be the animated series.
The animated series.
Was fun to watch.
Which was fun to watch and is a Majors Only deck. This is a full 78 card tarot deck, whereas this one is a Majors Only deck. Before we get into showing you the decks, I wanted to share a little bit about receiving this deck, as the creator was kind enough to send me a copy of each of these decks for review purposes. I had pre-ordered this deck way back in 2020, and shortly after pre-ordering I received a refund, as did everybody else who had pre-ordered, and an email was sent out to us basically saying that, with the pandemic, with supply chain issues, with convention circuits being canceled, that it wasn't the right time to release the deck because it couldn't have been done up to the standards that were intended. It couldn't have been released in the way that they wanted. So rather than holding on to our money for 2 years, the creator actually refunded everybody, which I have to say is a really good thing to have done. I really appreciated that. And when I found out that the deck was coming out again, I was really excited when the creator reached out and offered to send me these copies of the deck. So it's finally here. It's going to be available for order online very, very soon. I'm going to link the creator's website in the description box below. I know that he's just waiting to actually have the decks in hand before taking purchases, just in case. We all know with tarot decks and any other product really, that the last number of years wait times have been
indeed
all over the place, right? So they're just waiting to have the decks in hand so that they can ship them when you order them, but they will be available below. And so this is kind of our unboxing because we've resisted the urge to look through all the cards. Somehow they've been sitting here, but we wanted to share our first impressions with everybody live, right?
Well, you did have a look at the book.
But I had a look at the book. So I know from the creator's website and from having these two decks here that the animated series deck doesn't have its own guidebook, but this one does. And the book is called Card Trek from the Triumphi to the 23rd Century. It's a paperback book. And I believe there's going to be the option to purchase this deck with the book or without at slightly different price points, which is nice. But I'm just going to say before we get into the cards that if this is a deck that interests you, I would very, very much recommend getting this book. I wanted to read it ahead of time before we made this review so that I could comment on the contents of the book. I feel like an unboxing of a book is a bit challenging, right? Like you can't really say much about it because you haven't read it yet. I will say that this book is very well done. I would say that if any tarot guidebook that tries to do a history of tarot, that this one does it perhaps the best of any book I've seen that's not just kind of a standalone tarot history book, which there are, of course, books like that. But this one has quite a extensive look at tarot history. It goes back to, the Eastern Han period, some 2,000 years ago, to the creation of paper in China and the creation of tools to play games with, right? Creating cards. Going up through the Mamluk deck, the Marseille, Solabusca. It's very detailed. So I think if somebody was getting this because they were really into Trek but not into tarot, it would make sense. And this is something Chris and I have been talking about before we made this video and before I was really looking at it. We were curious what the book would be like because it's like, is this something for tarot people
Oh, or is it just something for Star Trek fans?
Or is it something for Star Trek fans? And obviously there are those of us who occupy the middle of the Venn diagram and are both of those things, but there's a lot of people who are one or the other. And the creator, I think, has done a really good job of making it both. I think that somebody who only knows Star Trek is going to learn a lot about tarot here, and somebody who doesn't know Trek very well but is interested in it would be able to have enough here to understand what's going on in the cards.
Get a good rundown of all the programs, of each episode.
It goes through each episode. So as we'll see, what happens here is that the decks and series are paired 1-to-1. So pretty perfectly, there are 78 episodes of the original series, and there are 22 of the animated series. So each episode is given one card,
Fascinating.
Which is pretty cool. And you just want to laugh so bad.
Fascinating.
You don't have to be too serious. So that's really cool how they're paired 1-to-1. And most of the guidebook, what it covers, and I don't know if you can tell here that there's a bit of color coding in the edges of the paper to be able to find the different suits. Each card details the meaning of the card with upright and reversed meanings, with some keywords and full paragraphs, and then it gets into the details of which episode was chosen and why. So you get quite a bit from each. For each card, you get a full page nearly. And the cards aren't quite reproduced in the book, but kind of the central scene is there in color. The History of Tarot section is really good. There is a original spread in here, which is fun, and lots of suggestions for things like 3-card spreads, including 1 or 2 that I hadn't seen before, which at this point doesn't happen very often, to be quite honest. There's a whole section on rules for playing games with tarot decks, which is something that's almost never included in any book, so that's really fun. It goes all through the Golden Dawn, the Rider-Waite, the Thoth deck. Like the historical trajectory covered in this book is really solid. 1-card spread, 3-card spreads, using clarifying cards, some 5-card spreads, a larger spread, and then there's a section that goes into the deck design. And so something that is interesting about this is that they've noted, and this is just reading from the book, the illustrations on the Star Trek tarot cards will sometimes reflect customary tarot imagery, such as Spock hanging upside down on the Hangman card. But Star Trek Tarot makes no attempt to artificially impose additional tarot symbolism into the illustrated Star Trek scenes, and each illustration is a scene from an episode. For example, while a few of the Blades cards may feature an image where a character is actually holding a knife or sword in its original Star Trek scene, Kirk on the Ten of Blades is actually not carrying any swords. So they haven't gone and superimposed, 9, 10, 7 swords into the picture that weren't there before, which I think is a good... It might be kind of weird if they did anything otherwise.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of different associations built into the cards. So things like element and suit and tree of life and,
But we can tell that they're very subtle on the card and very well done.
Yeah, so we're going to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
And something that's really cool, though, that I just want to show in the guidebook that I think is, get the guidebook because it's fabulous. But even just for 2 pages, there's this fantastic appendix.
Oh, wow.
That lists every card, a keyword, a bunch of different associations, the air date of the episode, the star date of the episode, and the title of the episode, all color-coded by suit. So it's such a good quick reference, and then there's also a breakdown of the different symbols used for the different associations, like element, season, musical note, astrology, direction, all kinds of stuff. So this is really, really good. Highly recommend getting the book with the deck, even if you know Trek really well. I think it still adds something, and if you know Trek really well and you love it and you want this deck, you definitely want the book too. So, without further ado, we finally get to look at the cards.
Yay!
We've been waiting. We took a peek at the packaging and what it was like. So they come in these boxes, as we have shown. The guidebook was inside this box when we got it, but the cards are inside of their own box as well, which I'm making look like a lot more of a struggle than it actually is. Okay.
There we go. Oh, that's very nice.
So this is a 2-piece hard box, and you know we have to knock on the box to show that the box is sturdy. This is really important to tarot reviews, right?
The box is sturdy.
And so it's kind of textured looking. This part is actually a different texture than the surrounding part. And there's just a tiny, the back is plain, and there's just a very tiny copyright for the creators company there, Telekiad, and it's got the copyright 2020. And this is all, of course, officially licensed in all the ways that it needs to be. Permissions were granted in all the ways that they needed to be to use people's likenesses in this deck, or people's estates if folks are not around anymore. We're able to do that. So, do we want to read the back of the box for folks? No?
The Ancient Tarot deck has 78 cards, rich with layers of meaning. Star Trek aired 78 episodes during its initial run. The first of its kind card deck bridges the centuries to match every classic Star Trek episode 1-to-1 with its corresponding tarot card, and presents the originally unaired Star Trek pilot film on 2 bonus cards. Every card features an iconic Star Trek scene, episode data, and episode data. Tarot name, interpretation keywords, esoteric symbol, and more on high quality full tarot size cards with a sturdy storage box, which we have already established.
Very authoritatively read there.
I did it without my reading glasses.
Oh.
That's why I was struggling.
That's good. So right away, the box has the finger cutouts, which you know I like. I have 1 or 2 that don't have that, and it really bugs me.
That's a good image.
And it starts with the Ace of Blades. Maybe we'll put them in the order that we would usually review them in and then go through them. Normally we'd start with the Major Arcana rather than the Ace of Blades, but we both, I think, like this Sulu image.
George Takei.
On the Ace of Blades of George Takei. So, there's just a little band that comes off of here. Not too much plastic, which is also good. Less plastic is better. There's some color coding. Immediately we can see that there's some color coding of the suits, but I'm not going to peek too much, but I want to put the blades and coins later than the cups. Oh, I like the Ace of Wands.
The Ace of Wands.
Or Ace of Rods, actually.
Rods, yeah.
And then the majors, so that we can go through them in the usual order.
Okay.
So, we're ready. We have the Fool.
The Fool.
We know who that is.
We do know who that is. We just watched this episode.
The Fool has Adam from The Way to Eden. And so, just to see what we're looking at here, what you get is the number, the ship chosen to represent the suit on the top left. On the top right, you can see here that the card is named, and then you have a keyword, curiosity for the Fool, and then a lighter colored and upside down keyword, which is here folly, if you were reading reversals. Then up here you have all of these associations of different symbols that are covered in that appendix, right? So I'm trying to cover our faces because the camera will take...
We'll focus on it.
We'll focus on our faces if it can see them. Trying to get... Yeah, let's try to hide. So you can see what they've done here is underneath the title of the card. There we go. There's all these different teeny tiny symbols, and those represent things like the element and the season and a direction and different associations that you might or might not incorporate into your reading. There's a lot of astrological information in there. Then on the bottom is the episode name, the phrase Star Trek Tarot, which is on every card, and the star date and broadcast date of
the episode.
So you get a lot on each card. What do you think? A lot of
information there. I love this. Art is very good.
The art is beautiful.
Excellent. And I mean, Adam is a fool.
He's curious. He's on a quest. It's a good pairing. It makes sense.
He's on a quest for Eden.
He has a foolish quality to him, for sure. There's a tiny, tiny copyright down the sides of the card. It's very unobtrusive. You can barely see it, which is good. You don't want that to be overpowering. And what I like about this is I feel like if you don't like the symbols and you don't want to read with the symbols, you don't have to. The artwork is very front and center. And so, you don't need to pay attention to symbols that you don't use, right? If you don't incorporate astrology into your reading, those little tiny symbols there are not going to be too much of a distraction, I don't think. I think you could choose to use them and that they would be helpful if you did. But if you don't like to use them, then you don't have to.
We have 77 more to get through.
We have 77 more to get through. We're not going to go through everything on every card. But, people will know who watch my channel will know that, I don't like tarot decks having keywords on them. I think that keywords can be limiting, right? Because cards are so multifaceted, it can be limiting to have only one word. I can see, though, with a deck like this, especially if it's being purchased by people who are, like Chris, who are into Star Trek and knowledgeable about Star Trek, but not so much about tarot.
It's still a collectible piece of the canon.
Yeah, but if you wanted to learn to read tarot with this as your first deck, because you're a diehard Trek fan who's never been interested in tarot before and then you saw this, I think that with the guidebook being as good as it is, and with the keywords on here, you could.
You would have an easier time.
You would have a lot easier time than if it had no keywords. So even though I'm not a keyword person, I'm not mad at it. I think it is a good stylistic choice. And I do think that the artwork is amazing. They did such a good job.
Nice.
And yeah, you mentioned it's a collectible. It may be that this is something that also appeals to people who don't really want to learn tarot.
But it's still a Star Trek collectible item.
But it's a collectible item, and it's 78 original pieces of artwork from stills from the show that only exist in this package, really, in this context. And so I think people would like it for that. And Chris is like, please let us move on.
We can't spend that much time on every card.
We won't spend that much time on every card. Magician. The Magician that's a good choice because it's very magician looking from Cat's Paw.
Cat's Paw, the episode, yes. I'm not sure I remember this one very well.
This one they're messing with the crew.
Right.
And then they turn out to be maybe less intimidating than they thought when they find out who they were in the end, if you remember. So I like that that's, a character with a wand for the Magician. Works really well. And to just give a sense, and you're like, please let us move on. But to give a sense of what you would get in the guidebook.
Oh, there he was.
There he was. So you get some meanings of the Magician card. And it's a couple of paragraphs. And the keywords, which are skill, upright, and inadequacy reversed, are bolded in the paragraph. So that's a nice touch in terms of navigating the book. But it explains that in Cat's Paw, the Enterprise is exploring planet Pyrus 7. After a first landing party fails to check in, Kirk leads a second team to investigate. They receive a series of warnings to leave in the forms of curses, ghosts, witches, and eventually a dungeon with cobwebs and skeletons. McCoy makes trick-or-treat jokes. They meet Korob and Sylvia, and Korob's name is bolded because that's who this is. Explorers from another galaxy. Korob uses a magic wand-like transmuter to transport the landing party from place to place and make various items appear and vanish. Sylvia alters her appearance and performs other magic-like feats, including controlling the minds of the first landing party. Sylvia threatens to destroy them all if Kirk won't help her increase her powers. When Kirk breaks the transmuter, everything vanishes except for Korob and Sylvia, whose true alien forms are revealed as tiny and powerless. So you don't have to have seen the episode, and I'm not going to read any more of these because they're spoilers and I want everybody to go watch Star Trek. But you see how it's connected really explicitly between the character and the card, so if you didn't really know what the magician card meant,
you get an idea.
You get some sense of why it was picked, right? And if you know the characters really well, that gives you an added layer. Of course, it's like, we're moving on.
High Priestess. Oh, let's get that in focus.
You have to pull it out a little bit. There you go. Beautiful.
From the episode, For the World is Hollow and I Have Touched the Sky. Very nice.
Beautiful.
They are very well done.
Friday's Child is the Empress. People know that Pregnant Empress is not my favorite. I think that it leans into some stereotypes that we don't need. But it's a beautiful image.
Oh, the Pregnant Empress?
Yeah.
Oh my.
But she's beautiful. The artwork is amazing. And I really like the layout of these. Oh.
There we go.
We know this one too.
Yes, we do. Oh, come on.
We've seen them all, right?
Well, I want to focus.
Pull back a little bit. There you go. The Emperor.
Fascinating.
Perfect. And the Return of the Archons, the Hierophant. Landru. We've been watching some original series episodes getting geared up and ready.
We watched this one recently.
And this is another one that we really like and that we watched ahead, in the last week or so. So Landru is a good choice for the
Another
Hierophant.
moment when Kirk reveals the true form of the enemy.
But it's not really an enemy when we get to the end, is it?
This episode's a little problematic.
The lovers in the Paradise Syndrome. Yeah, Syndrome. I can't remember her name, but it's Kirk. Of course, the Chariot.
Of course.
Has to be the Enterprise itself. And this one, it gets stuck. It gets stuck in the force field.
Oh yeah, and the
Tholian web. So that's a good one.
The Tholians are featured more prominently in the year 5 comic books.
The comics.
Yeah. Graphic novels.
Strength. And so here for keywords we have courage and instinct is the reverse keyword, which is interesting.
We have
the Hermit.
The
Requiem
artwork again.
Methuselah.
Did we watch that one recently?
We did.
Yeah, we did.
We did, and he's on the planet alone.
That's right.
He's on a planet alone, except for with a android that he creates to keep him company, and he wants to stay alone. He makes good sense for a hermit. He's also very learned and ancient.
That's right.
And, embodies a lot of the things that the hermit would. The reverse keyword of isolation definitely comes into that one, for sure.
We have
the Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune, when they find the time portal. Is that a time portal or just I think they go to like different planets and stuff.
This is cool because, they said that they didn't, in the book they explained that they didn't try to superimpose things on the cards. Like they didn't stick a wheel on the card because it's the Wheel of Fortune. But they have chosen a scene that has a round object in it. So you do get a quick visual. I think that the creator has done a really, really good job of picking episodes for cards, which I think is amazing. Oh, this is a good one.
Court Martial.
For Justice.
Which is a great
Kirk
episode.
on Trial.
Kirk on Trial, yeah. Oh, this one's awesome. Look at that. Spock when he's all happy and emotional.
As the Hanged Man. And that's a good. I love Spock.
What's the keyword there?
Betrayal. As a keyword that's an interesting keyword for the Hanged Man. It's not the first one that I would think of, but I can get it for sure.
Oh, we did watch this episode recently too.
Yes.
Metamorphosis
for death. That's a good one.
That's
That Cloud is Deadly.
Zephyr
Cochrane.
in the Aliens communication bubble.
And so they've used the keyword transformation, and that also makes sense because there's a huge transformation.
She becomes human in the episode.
The alien form takes on a human form.
This is good. Spock as Temperance.
So with a crew the size that the crew is, of course you're going to get duplicates. So, you know, it's not going to be one character each. But I really like. This is such a good image of him. Also. Of
Leonard Nimoy.
It's such a good picture of him. The artist has done a fabulous job. And something that I'll also point out, you know, that they've done is they've made the different associations more or less prominent. Like the white ones really stand out.
Right. And
then the gray ones less in terms of kind of primary and secondary associations.
What episode is that?
I really like this. Is There No Truth in Beauty?
We just watched that episode.
We just watched this one too. So basically we watched a lot.
he's wearing his Vulcan
he is
medal, I think it is.
Yeah.
For
this is so good. And there's something a little bit, you know, there's something a little bit like makes it look like it's on a computer view screen or something with all of the different symbols around, and it's got a little bit of shading around the edges that makes it look like it's bordered, but it's I would call this a borderless artwork because it's not really delineated. I love this episode.
I love this episode too, but we haven't watched it recently.
Maybe we'll watch it tonight. The
Devil in the Dark.
As the devil. And this
the creature that
alien life form is attacking the miners in that episode.
That the doctor can try to heal. He's like, not a geologist.
Oh, but there's no McCoy in this particular scene. Only
he was
Spock
really central
Kirk,
to the episode.
McCoy was central to that episode. I really like McCoy. The Doomsday Machine is the tower. Crisis and Disruption.
That's a memorable episode too.
Definitely Crisis. Oh, this is perfect. Oh, it's so good. The Star. Return to Tomorrow. Kirk. That looks like a star card too. I like that looks like a star card. I'm trying to be cognizant of not taking 2 hours here. The Menagerie for the moon.
Huh.
Great.
Because it's got the great big moon.
And it's got a great big moon.
Moon shot.
In it, which is fun.
The sun?
The Cloud Minders is the sun. I like the background is that orange and red.
Yeah, able to get that in focus?
Yeah, if you stop moving so quickly. Oh, they look so good.
They look fabulous.
Judgment. Inspector of the Gun.
That's a good one.
And finally, The World. This is a good one too. Where they feed rocks to this big rock head.
A sacrifice.
Snake rock head thing.
To stop the earth from shaking or something?
Yeah, this is a really good one. And you know what? Before we move on, something I should comment on, because inquiring minds want to know when you're reviewing a tarot deck, is a bit of the kind of technical specs. So the backs are reversible.
So you can read it upside down.
So if you're reading reversals when you're shuffling, that you wouldn't be able to tell
that the one's upside down.
Which ones are upside down. I like them. They're plain, which is nice.
They have two comments.
You know, the front the front of the cards have a lot going on. I kind of wish that the tiny copyrights were on the back of the card instead of the front, but I'm not sure if that changes the status of that copyright mark or not. But I really like the backs, and the cardstock is shuffleable. It's bendy. I feel like this is akin to like standard smooth, like make playing cards standard smooth, which is what I made my deck in as well. So it is not too shiny, but it's just a little bit, you know, it's not sticky. They slide well, they shuffle well, and the images look really clear, which is what you would
Do we want to save these two for later because they're the bonus cards?
Well, we're there now. We know that there's two bonus cards. These ones are from the unaired episode.
Well, it did air.
Eventually, but not in order. So, there's your bonus cards. And so those are both from the cage. So this is the one spot where it's not one to one, because you have two. The mind controlling alien figures.
I love how they brought the cage back in season 1 when Christopher Pike was injured and needed to go someplace to heal.
So the mind controlling aliens, plural, are the aliens bonus card, and then one of their illusions is the alien card, singular, surprise and wonder. So that's a good one. Now, one of my all-time favorite episodes is the Ace of Rods. You know that this is the one that I love. I love the Gorn as the Ace of Rods, and it is rods in this episode. It is rods in this deck, not wands. This episode with the Gorn, where Kirk has to fight the Gorn, and they're pitted against each other with very little to fight with, and they have to, fight to the end. And of course, he's trying to find a way out of fighting this Gorn captain, and they can't really communicate with each other very well at first. I love the arena. I love that episode very much. It's good rods. Ace of Rods too.
This is this the episode where Kirk becomes a woman? What are little girls made of?
Worst. That's like the worst one. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's not the one.
That's not that episode.
This is the one where they're building an android replica of Captain Kirk.
Ah.
We haven't watched that one recently, so we don't remember which scene is from which, but I am so excited that Arena was the Ace of Rods. Two of Rods is good too. I have to say, just as an aside before we keep going, I feel like this would be really challenging to do because it's like you've got 78 episodes and 78 cards. Some of the pairings are going to be really obvious, right? Maybe. But then once you get to the end and you've paired up 70 episodes and 70 cards, and you've got 8 cards left and 8 episodes left, and you start looking at them and thinking, "Oh crap,
who am I going to put in this one?"
They don't really go. But I think so far they've done a really good job that all of these do make sense to me. So this is fun. 3 of Rods is Errand of Mercy.
4 of Rods being this one.
Daryl's coming. He's excited too.
Daryl's Trekkie as well.
Daryl's the cat. He's watched a lot of Star Trek with us too. Oh, this one. Savage Curtain with all these folks.
Oh, when they meet Abe Lincoln.
Yeah, he's different.
And Surak?
Yep. The Challenge episode, 5 of Rods. A Taste of Armageddon is the 6 of Wands. The artwork is just phenomenal. The camera probably doesn't even really do it justice.
Action-packed. Kirk and the crew firing phasers on full Operation Annihilate.
And it's a good 7 of Wands, because usually the 7 of Wands shows somebody holding a wand and kind of fending off other wands. So they haven't had to put a bunch of wands in the picture, but it makes sense in terms of Smith-Waite kind of meanings as well.
Another card with phasers being fired.
8 of Rods.
And this is the wink of an eye. It was a good episode where they speed up to meet the aliens. Oh no.
Oh, 9 of Rods. Experience. The deadly
McCoy
years. Aged
beyond his years.
Well, I hope there's a younger picture of him in here somewhere.
Oh, yeah, we haven't seen McCoy yet.
We haven't seen a really a younger McCoy yet. Spock's brain for the 10 of Rods.
Ooh.
10 of Rods having a lot to do with, carrying a lot of weight. Keyword burden is a good one there. Charlie
X is a great character, iconic in the Star Trek universe. So
the court cards are traditionally named. Knight of Rods.
Knight of Rods.
And the keyword is quest. That's a good keyword for a knight.
What's the episode?
I feel like knights are questing. The Changeling.
The Changeling. Oh, yes.
Enterprise Incident
is the art again is so well done, and it looks fabulous.
The art is really, really beautiful. Like I would buy these even if it wasn't a tarot deck. I would want King of Frauds. Space Seed. Ambition.
He was very ambitious.
So now the cups are color-coded to blue, which is... These are pretty traditional association colors. I'm surprised that coins are yellow and blades are green because of coins being associated with earth. A lot of the time they will be green and yellow for air for the swords, but that's fine. Ace of Cups.
That's an early episode that, what do they become? 2 of them. She's one of the ones that become a god.
Where no man has gone before.
I can't remember her name, though.
I can't either. We're going to have to watch more Trek.
We're going to have to watch it all again.
And now, we're I'll have to share a picture of folks for our Halloween this year, because we're going pretty all out.
Into the Trekkie.
2 of Cups.
Enemy Within. 2 of Cups. Being Kirk again.
Interesting one. 3 of Cups is Mud's women.
Aw.
Or Mud. I think Mud's going to show up in here at some point.
I'm sure.
Mud is an important secondary character in the original series who turns up a few times.
This is the dagger of the mind for the
4
of Cups. Are we in Cups?
Yeah, we're in Cups. It says Cups
I see it
in the corner.
Okay, perfect.
Oh, you remember this one?
This is one of the most famous episodes of all time for Star Trek.
Let that be your last battlefield. 5 of Cups.
Star Trek tackling the futility of racism.
These characters, one of them is their sides are reversed.
The black
right?
on the
and
right.
they're fighting.
Black on
and
the
they're
left.
fighting each other from a sense of one being better than the other based on that physical difference. This episode is a lot. And it's, the keyword regret for 5 of Cups.
Yeah.
There's definitely that.
This being the 6 of Cups. We watched this one recently.
Oh, yeah.
Plato's stepchildren.
And he's the only one... he's the
didn't
only one
have
who
the power.
doesn't have powers, and he's treated terribly by all the people who do have powers because he doesn't.
And then he's, at the end, given a chance to smite them, and he doesn't. Because he said that would make
Wait a spoiler.
Just like them.
Wait a spoiler.
Oh, everybody's seen them.
7 of Cups. Illusion.
If you haven't seen the original series, I mean, are you under a rock?
There's only 78 episodes of it. You could get this deck, and then you could watch them.
In a weekend.
It could happen.
A long weekend.
It could happen. I blame you for the fact that I've watched all of these so many times. 8 of Cups, Immunity Syndrome. This is awesome because this is like the graphics of the series. Which is fun. Oh, these are so good. Mark of
I don't remember
Gideon.
this episode. Mark of Gideon.
For the 9 of Cups. I don't know.
Perhaps.
I bet we will the second we read about it.
Of course, but some of the imagery, you look at it and you're like, what? Did that actually happen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, this is the one where they're trying to get her infected with a disease from Kirk. So they put them in a room together.
Oh.
Because the planet, they don't have diseases and they're trying to introduce it to balance population. And so she's sent in to get it.
Tomorrow is yesterday. What a great episode this is when they go back in time. Oh, Star Trek.
I'm not going to pretend
Going back in time.
I'm not going to pretend that the time travel episodes are my favorite ones. They never are. Those and mirror universes, but Miri.
Yeah.
Page of Cups. Oh my goodness, and we have a whole other Majors Only deck to go through after this.
We have a
Knight of Cups.
good.
These, oh, they're so good.
They're really well done.
Queen of Cups is an empath. That's perfect for the Queen of Cups.
There's the guy we were looking for.
Mud.
There's Mud.
King Mud, King of Cups.
He's looking pretty good in that photo. In that rendering. That's it.
No,
we didn't. Oh,
we
okay.
didn't get to these.
We didn't get to these. We've
We
already.
have 2 suits left.
We already
Ace
showed
of,
off that one.
Is it swords or blades?
Ace of
Sulu,
blades.
George Takei.
2
Fencing.
blades.
That is such a good picture of him too. Whom gods destroy. Duplicated Kirk.
Duplicated Kirk is.
There's quite a few kind of multiple Kirk ones.
3 is
That Which Survives.
which survives is a great.
They've picked the scenes so well. Lights of Zetar for 4 of Blades. Like that looks like a 4 of Blades. Besides the meaning making sense with the episode plot, like the imagery looks like the card that it is, which is cool.
5 of blades. Again, I think there's a time travel element to this episode.
There's Spock.
Oh, this was a pretty good episode. The guy who's I think it's Lazarus is his name.
6 of Blades. Lazarus, yeah.
And he's split into 2 personalities. He's an interesting character.
When he's chasing, he's like on a revenge mission. Oh my goodness. The
Remember
man
that
trap in the
creature?
7 of Blades.
This
Oh,
creature is so good.
so ugh,
And creepy.
creepy.
The art is again
8 of Blades.
absolutely. Where's Scotty in all this?
Keyword stress.
Is that Scotty?
No.
No, it's not.
No, we haven't seen Scotty yet.
Or McCoy.
9 of Blades.
Oh,
Oh, we saw
McCoy
McCoy.
once. Yeah, we did see McCoy once. There we have
Obsession.
obsession. That's when he's obsessed with not firing fast enough into the cloud, isn't it? Or no, that was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
We
thinks
just watched that episode.
he's thinks his hesitation got other crew members killed.
And so does Kirk.
Which for a 9 of Swords, like that is the nightmare scenario, right? Like that card usually has somebody gripping their head.
I didn't
with
do any. I
swords.
didn't do what I could.
10 of Blades. These are so good. These are so good.
Finnegan, shore leave. One of Captain Kirk's bullies
Page
comes back to torture him.
of Blades. The Knight of Blades. I wonder if anybody said no.
Queen of Blades.
I wonder if anybody said no to being in this.
It seems like
Because-
James Doohan might have.
Because they got everybody. They got everybody's permission and estate's permission. James Doohan is still alive. He maybe did. I don't know.
No, he's not.
I don't want to assume that. King of Blades. Oh, that's a good one.
Love the Klingons.
That's a good one.
The old original series Klingons. Okay, we're on to the coins.
Which is the last suit. And then we get to show the Majors Only deck. Ace of Coins, Beginnings. Daryl, no. All our yesterdays is the Ace of Coins.
That's a good episode.
2 of Coins.
Is that episode that you dislike?
Yeah. We'll just... 3 of Coins.
3 of Coins.
The
We
Gamesters
just
of
watched this
Triskelion.
one. We did watch this one.
The disembodied brains that
Enslave.
fight. They fight people.
They enslave people and
And
force
make
them
them
to fight.
fight each
Make
other.
bets on them. It's fun. Mirror,
here's
mirror.
the Hulk. Is this this is most of the cast? No, everybody's here.
That's Scotty and McCoy.
And Uhura. Looking fabulous. My goodness.
The best looking crew member on the Starship Enterprise
mirror.
has got to be Uhura.
They look great. They look great. I love it.
Oh, the Corbomite maneuver.
I love it.
This is a great character.
I love it. I love it. Daryl thinks that it's time for FOOD. It is not. He's 45 minutes early.
The spread. Oh, bread and circuses. I'm not sure I remember this episode very well.
Looks like we have watching to do.
Yeah, we could look up that one.
Galileo 7 for 7 of coins. It's been a couple years since we've watched the whole original series through. But we've been watching some this week to get
Here's
in the
another
mood.
character that appears makes an appearance in Year 5, the graphic novels, which are amazing if you ever get a hold of one. Read them. And that is 7.
We need to get Year 4, but they're out of print.
They're out of print, and I can't get my hands on them.
And they're expensive. Because they're out of print and we're cheap. 9. Oh, this one.
I'll buy them anyway.
9 of coins.
When they go back to a planet that had been contaminated by a starship 100 years earlier and look like Chicago. Oh,
this is my mom's favorite episode. This is my mom's favorite episode of the show.
It's a good episode.
And it's one of mine too.
Also one well known even outside of Star Trek.
The Trouble with Tribbles.
Everyone
is so good. And Tribbles, if you haven't seen it, are very abundant and they reproduce very quickly. So for 10 of coins, which is a card that has to do often with familial legacy and also abundance, this is a good the Tribbles is not really an abundance that you want on your ship, but it is one that makes sense.
Oh, this is a good image.
So pretty.
They are just
Page of coins.
So well done. I love the artwork is really good.
They're beautiful. I don't even know what the medium is. Do you think it's like pencils?
Yeah.
It doesn't look like paint to me.
So I think it could be like
Knight of coins. The artwork is beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
What is this? 9? Or Queen?
Queen.
Of coins?
Second last. And Conscience of the King for the King.
And who's that?
Of Pentacles, all about responsibility.
Oh.
This is so good. This is so good, friends. The 2-year wait was worth it. I'm so excited. So now we're going to go into the animated series. The animated series doesn't come with a book, so I won't blather as long.
I've only seen the animated series maybe once or twice. I watched it once alone and then once with you, I think.
I think I've watched it once and it was once with you.
Okay.
And that was it. Because I knew when we met, I knew that I would be into Star Trek. But I was kind of resistant because I know how much of it there was, and I already was very much a science fiction person. And
Did we start you on Next Generation?
No,
we started you on original series. Okay, we wanted to make sure that she had the proper
and it was
background.
Yeah, it was just the kind of thing that I knew that I would be into. I just kind of needed the nudge, and he was the nudge.
I'm the nudge.
He was the nudge that I blame for this. But it's fantastic. So the box is the same. Or
one's got a yellow.
No, they're very slightly different. They're very slightly different for the different badges.
Oh, they are different badges.
And one has silver and one has gold. So they're very throwing stuff around. They're sturdy. It's good.
It's good.
Very slightly different. So this is artwork right from.
It's just screen captures.
These have the same backs, which is interesting. you could theoretically, and I don't know why you would do this, shuffle in these majors with the minors from the other deck.
What, and pull out the majors from the other?
Yeah, and mix them together if you want to, because the backs are the same. Sometimes having paired decks having backs the same, especially if it's a tarot and an oracle, is really nice because you can mix them all in together.
Are they exactly the same backs?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the same.
But it's a good back. Yeah. I'm happy with that. Now what they've done here, because the box is the same size, but this deck only has 22 cards. There's a piece in here to make it shallower, so that they don't
shake around.
They don't shake around. You could remove it. I wouldn't. I mean, it keeps them secure. I mean, you wouldn't be able to have a box like this that was like so shallow, so it makes sense.
And there's no book that comes with this, so we don't know much about. I don't know much about these episodes.
These episodes we don't know as well, admittedly. The Practical Joker is good for the Fool.
Obviously.
Makes sense. And so this has the same system of associations on it. The astrology and elemental and all those things.
In the corners.
The same setup with the keywords upright and then the faded keyword for reversed. And having the episode title and date and all of that on there the same way. So you could easily look up, we could easily look up the character names. We probably will.
Oh yeah.
Magician.
We'll know all we can.
I only really remember a handful of these episodes.
Yeah.
We watched it way back.
It's been a few years.
Way back when. The High Priestess. These images look very much like their cards, though. The Empress has a throne in the background, which is cool.
The Infinite Vulcan. I remember this episode.
They went with a very large character for the Emperor in both decks, which is interesting.
Yeah. Because
it was the Greek god one in the other deck. Oh my god.
The what?
How sharper than a serpent's tooth for the Hierophant. Ah. This is fun.
Fun image.
These are really fun.
Mud's Passion.
For the lovers, but we have Spock in the image. These are hilarious.
Is that Nurse Chapel with them? Maybe. I know they have a little bit of a love affair.
The Chariot has the Enterprise again.
With all of the other kinds
That's
of ships
fun.
Around it.
That's fun. Oh, and something I didn't mention in the other deck, just so that we can spend more time on that. They used different kinds of ships
for the different. Corner?
Yeah, so you can see here they've used different, different aliens, different types of ships there.
Is that a Klingon bird of prey on the
on the blades?
On the blades.
Makes sense. So that's a cool extra touch if you're one to notice these kinds of things. Oh, that episode was funny. I like that one.
It's for the strength card.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Good enough.
I find the animated series to be just fun all around. Even when it's dealing with something slightly serious, it's kind of fun in its animatedness.
Oh, we have the same imagery in the Wheel of Fortune. Is that
similar theme? Yeah.
Similar theme with the
portal.
The portal that I guess makes another appearance in the animated series. I don't remember.
Oh, these kind of aquatic ones for justice.
That's good.
Yeah, I don't remember these episodes very well.
There's a few of them.
Yeah, I don't remember most of these. Oh, I remember this one for the death card.
Oh yeah? Why is that? More tribbles, more trouble.
More tribbles, more trouble.
We do remember that episode.
I just want every series to have a tribble episode.
Well, I think it does. They're at least mentioned in every series. What is that?
Temperance. Daryl.
Temperance.
Daryl feels excluded.
Pirates of Orion.
He's like, people are doing something and I want to be a part of it. The devil, oppression.
Ooh.
As a keyword, and release. Now, are they? I wonder. Have they used the same? They probably used the same keywords on the two decks, right? That would make sense. Yeah, they did.
Okay.
They did. Which, I mean, if you pick a set of keywords and you're going to go with that, then
the devil.
That makes
Someone's
sense.
being fired upon in this one, I think.
The Tower, crisis. One of our planets is missing. Amazing. Amazing.
There's the crew.
Oh, these are so much fun.
Bridge crew.
Daryl.
And this is the eye of the beholder for the star.
He's just looking for attention.
The
The
moon.
moon. And might I add something that I personally appreciate. It's Aquamarine 18. 18 is the moon card. I appreciate that the keywords for the moon that they went with are mystery and fluidity. Because everybody who watches my channel knows I don't like an overly negative depiction of the moon card.
Indeed.
The moon card is not negative. So, I'm happy about that.
The sun
I don't remember that
is
one.
Kirk himself. Of course. Our
Bad.
captain.
For Judgment. Do you remember this one?
Yes, when he comes apart. Yes, I remember that when that's one of the one of the crew members, alien crew members, that's able to separate his body.
And the very, very last one, Once Upon a Planet, as the world card.
The two-headed
Isn't
dragon.
that fun? So, this is the Star Trek Tarot and the Star Trek. This one, they have called it a mini deck. I would call it a majors only deck. It's the same. They are the same size. Everything is standard tarot size. And so I'm very excited. And I'm very excited for the creator, Adam, because I know how long that these have been in the works. I know how they've, wanted to get these out into the world, and so much of our plans over the last 2 years or so have been 3 years or so, I guess, have been thwarted by the global situation. So I'm really happy and congratulate the creator on a really fantastic release. And I'm so glad that they're going to be available soon. I'm going to link below again where you can find the website. As of now, at the point that I'm filming, it says coming soon. So there are listings there. There are prices there. There's information about the creator there. But you can't order the deck just yet. But I know that it is a matter of days at this point, the wait. So they will be there very soon. Definitely, if you're a Trek fan, really do pick the deck up. It's really, really well done, and definitely get the book because it's fabulous. So thanks so much for watching with us and tuning in. I'll see you all again soon and wish you all well. Bye.